Hello, my friends. It's Isabel, your life coach. My dream is to stretch your mind to see what's possible in your life and to get you one step closer to achieve it. It's January, and everybody's setting goals and making New Year's resolutions. And that's a good thing, right? Because it's a new start, a fresh start, a clean slate, right? We start over. And what a year it's been, right? So I want to share in this video a little bit about the law of polarity and what does that have to do with your goal setting, and also a little different approach that you can add to your goal setting approach. So the law of polarity really talks about that there is extremes on the same spectrum, right? There's a beginning and an end. There is, here I have some props to show you. This box has a top and a bottom, right? Batteries have a positive and a negative charge, right? There is, it's not dark enough, but there is bright, light, and darkness, right? A book has a front cover and a back cover, right? You know what I'm saying. Things have extremes on the same spectrum. So the same with fulfilling your goal, right? If there's a fulfillment, then first there has to be a desire. And if there is an end, there has to be a beginning. Makes sense, right? I just recently learned about this law of polarity, and it's in everyday life. Really, what goes up comes down, right? It just makes so much sense. So if you, I want to encourage you with this, if you know that there is a goal and a desire, then there's a fulfillment. Do you believe that? Or are you one of those who says, I'll never get there, right? Maybe it's weight loss, maybe it's opening a new business, maybe it's connecting with that estranged adult child, or getting along with your partner or your mother-in-law. Help me God, I'm a mother-in-law. I want to be a good one. So what is that goal and what is that desire? And do you believe that there's a fulfillment to that desire? Do you hear my kitty? She wants to come in. So I want you to know that how to get there, right, is by the way of imperfect progress. The way to get to the fulfillment of your desire, to the achieving of your goal, is by imperfect progress. Because what happens when you're end of January, 2 weeks into January, I don't know, maybe I'll give you 2 months, end of February, and you are giving up on those New Year's resolutions. Maybe even after the first week, I don't know, it's January 6th today. What makes us give up, right? There's many reasons, many reasons. But one of them is that we don't really believe in the outcome, right? And we beat ourselves up for not being good enough, not being disciplined enough, not being this enough, not that enough, right? So-and-so can do it, I can't. I'm stuck with this weight. I'm stuck with this relationship with my partner and kids and in-laws, right? Is that true? I guarantee you it's not true. All right. If you need encouragement and tools to help you with those, please message me. That's my sweet spot. That's what I do in my one-on-one coaching. But back to the habits, right? We need the habits to get to that end goal, to that achievement, to that fulfillment. Habits are a good thing, right? So how do you get there? How do you implement that, right? What are things, ask yourself good questions. What is one way to implement that habit so I can stick with it? And you will come up with ideas, right? Not me, you will, because you have your own routines. So one question could be, how can I incorporate this new habit into my already existing routine, right? Maybe you have a morning routine. We all do, actually. You do have a morning routine. So your question could be, how can I incorporate this one new habit into my already existing routine, right? And use whatever helps you. Okay, I have on my phone, I have an alarm going off to remind me to read for 20 minutes. New year, right? New start, fresh start. That doesn't sound like a hard thing to do, does it? I can tell you, I have ignored that so many times. So this year, new start, the reminder will go off and I will read 20 minutes a day. And if I don't read 1 day, 2 days, 3 days, right? I could beat myself up and say, I'm not good with that. I'll never read that book. I'll never finish that book, right? I just finished one. I just finished one book by doing just that. So how can you incorporate that, right? But one really, really important point is a little less like just do that and it's practical and just, push that alarm and do it. It's more about the question, who do you need to become to get to that goal? Who do you need to become to achieve that? Who do you need to become to experience the fulfillment of that desire? That's a much deeper question. But ask yourself, hi kitty, who do you need to become? And don't compare to others, right? There's the saying out there, compare and despair. Don't do that. Any way you get there is your way and it's perfect. Okay, don't beat yourself up. So who do I need to be, right, to have this vision fulfilled? The exercise for you is to look ahead. And some people can look ahead a year, right? If that's too much for you and you're really stuck, maybe just look ahead for 1 month. And look at the end of the month or the end of the year and imagine, use your imagination. You have a God-given imagination, right? Use that imagination to see the woman that you want to be at the end of the year. Can you do that? Stop this video and take 5 minutes or more and write down. Just write down what comes to mind. Who is she? What does she look like? How much does she weigh? What does she wear? What does she do? What does she think? What makes her laugh? What car does she drive? What does she do for fun? How is she relating to her children? How is she relating to her partner? What is she doing to fill herself up? Right? Many, many more questions. Who is she? Write it all down. Write it all down. And it's going to be harder for some of you than for others. But write down, who is she at the end of the year? Describe her in as much detail as you can. And again, the way to get there is going to have failures, because you cannot have the success without the failure. Remember the law of polarity? You cannot have the achievement without the desire, right? You cannot have the end without the beginning. And the road there is not a straight for me to be journey. It's one of those, right? So don't beat yourself up when you miss a day, when you get discouraged. We all do. You know why? We're human. So just pick yourself up and start from that day. Let's say reading every day for 20 minutes. That was my example, right? Maybe that's one of your desires, to get through a book, to get through many books. Then if you miss one day, it's okay. It's okay, because the next day you'll pick it up, or the day after that you'll pick it up. And even, for example, even if you miss 3 days out of the whole week and you didn't read for 20 minutes, guess what? You have read 4 days, right? You have read 4 out of 7 days, and that's 4 days more than the past week. So congratulate yourself for the 4 days that you read. That's the better way to get to the end than to beat yourself up for the 3 days that you missed. because in that process, you are becoming someone who is reading. It becomes part of your identity. Once that is part of your identity, it's a piece of cake. Right? Just like you brush your teeth every morning, or you make your favorite cup of coffee, or you drive the same way to work. It's so ingrained in you that you don't have to think about it. And that's the beauty of a routine. It's going to be part of you and you don't even have to think about it. All right. So what is one thing, this is my last question to you. What is one thing that you can do today and tomorrow and for the rest of the week? What is one thing you can do to become that woman? One thing. Okay? Do that one step, and I'll talk to you next week. Bye-bye.